Terence Crawford's a great fighter. Terence Crawford can give anybody problems. Whether or not he will, I don't have that crystal ball. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But Terence Crawford knows what to do.
Terence Crawford prepares for the ultimate legacy-defining showdown, aiming to conquer Canelo Álvarez on the biggest stage of his career. Recognized as a rare talent, Terence Crawford carries the kind of skill set that makes even seasoned analysts hesitate to predict his limits. As training footage begins to surface, Terence Crawford's intentions for a clash with Canelo Álvarez become even more serious. His regimen starts with sharp shadow boxing, refining his angles and timing before escalating to intense sparring with full gear. These early glimpses suggest a focused Crawford meticulously preparing for the biggest challenge of his career. This growing anticipation is echoed by Robert Garcia, who weighs in on the potential mega fight. He argues that comparing Crawford to Floyd Mayweather is misleading, pointing to Canelo's youthful inexperience during the Mayweather bout. Garcia, however, still foresees an exciting clash, crediting Crawford's speed and footwork, while acknowledging that both fighters bring completely different styles to the ring.
I think it's totally different. I think, Canelo was only 23, he was very young. I think this fight's gonna be great. I do see Crawford maybe pulling it off because he's got good footwork, good speed, but I don't think they're close. I don't similar those two fights, Canelo and Floyd. I think they're just different styles. I mean, Floyd and
Echoing the fight's magnitude, Jim frames the potential bout as one of boxing's most important events. He emphasizes that elite fighters crossing weight divisions is essential for the sport's appeal, while acknowledging the unpredictability of the outcome due to Crawford's age and Canelo's experience. Gray envisions a thrilling spectacle, possibly staged in a sold-out Allegiant Stadium.
I think we want to see the best fight the best. And even though there's been a difference in weight divisions here, I think that, people clamor for big names and big fights and guys who are great to fight each other. So, institution, and I am for the institution of boxing. I think Canelo has been great for boxing, and I think Terence Crawford has been great for boxing. So, how this is going to play out exactly, I don't know. Terence Crawford is older, and Canelo has, twice as many rounds? So, I don't know how that combination ends up. The weight difference. Canelo's going to be a bigger man and a bigger frame.
Expanding further, Jim Gray underscores Crawford's adaptability, hailing him as a rare talent capable of challenging anyone. Despite this admiration, Gray admits it's impossible to determine whether Crawford's style will trouble Canelo significantly, showcasing the bout's razor-thin margin.
Cause Canelo problems.
Terence Crawford's a great fighter. Terence Crawford can give anybody problems. Whether or not he will, I don't have that crystal ball. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But
adding a technical perspective, Duke McKenzie deems Crawford a special world champion. He praises Crawford's fluid stance switches, likening them to Marvin Hagler's, and stresses how his unpredictable angles in close quarters could present a nightmare for Canelo, who prefers rhythm and timing.
No, I don't believe it will be too big a jump for Terence Crawford. fighters like Crawford don't come along that often. You know, special fighters. You got your world champions, then you got your special world champions. Now, I haven't seen anybody, with the exception of the late great Marvin Hagler, move as effortlessly from southpaw to orthodox. That kind of a style, speaking from experience, will give anybody nightmares. The worst thing you want to do, or the last thing you want to do as a fighter, is to fight a southpaw, full stop. But when the southpaw switches to orthodox, then switches back to southpaw, particularly when they do their inside work, you don't know where they're coming from. You don't know whether you're going to get hit with a left hook or a right hook, a right uppercut or a left uppercut.
Continuing on that note, McKenzie boldly predicts a Crawford victory. He critiques Canelo's recent performances, noting a decline in output and an over-reliance on power. For McKenzie, this bout might be the tipping point for Canelo, while Crawford's upward trajectory and added strength at higher weights could carry him to a decision win.
For me, I think he beats Canelo. I think Canelo's definitely slipping. I think his work rate has dropped off alarmingly. I think he relies on his power far too much. He can't ignite that spark anymore. It's probably far too much money for me, Canelo, and probably goes to bed in silk pajamas, as marvelous Marvin Hagler used to say. It's hard to get up at 5 a.m. and do your road work when you're wearing silk pajamas. So I think he's far too comfortable now. Like I say, there's only so many times you can go to the well, and you can talk a great fight. But when the bell goes and these corner stakes are set back, then he's faced with Crawford. Crawford will fight. Canelo's had the fight of his life. He's done that. That we've seen that fire ignited in him time and time again. I think this is that one fight too far for Canelo, and this is why Crawford is so confident about jumping up 2 weight divisions. He's saying to himself, you know what, it ain't really that big a deal, and it's probably not. And anybody will tell you that's moved through weight divisions. When you move through the weight divisions, you gain strength. You gain strength. I don't see Crawford slowing down. I see it as a good fight, a competitive fight. I don't think he stops Canelo, because nobody knocked Canelo out or knocked him down. But I see him beating Canelo.
Crawford himself frames the bout as his potential last dance against an all-time great. He sees Canelo as the final legacy name left to conquer, acknowledging that everything from his technical dismantling of Errol Spence to his past wars has built toward this ultimate challenge.
Yeah, Canelo is the last fighter in our generation that's a Hall of Famer, you know, that got the biggest name in the sport. So, you know, I chose to go up in weight and to actually try to conquer him from, you know, all his achievements in the division. So why not?
Challenging yourself. Now, let's go back a little bit, because you dominated Errol Spence in your last fight. You were able to take that win in a 9th round technical knockout. How much does that fight help you mentally preparing for this one coming up in September?
Well, I'm not going to just say that fight is the only fight that helped me. You know, all the fights along the way, you know, helped me and prepared me for this moment.
In a candid reflection, Crawford credits his in-ring success to his adaptive style. He respects Canelo's skills, from power to counterpunching, but insists he must remain laser-focused for 12 full rounds. For Crawford, the blueprint is simple: stick to his strengths and prepare with the same discipline that has brought him this far.
I just think my ability to adapt to every fighter that I've ever been in the ring with. I think making my adjustments on the fly is a skill that benefits me in each fight.
I 100% relate on that one, being able to be nimble. Now, obviously, we've talked about you moving up a weight class to fight Canelo. You've talked about the respect that you have for him, but what it is about his style and what he's been able to do that you respect the most?
Well, I just respect him as all. You know, he's a great fighter. He's, you know, a good boxer. He's a good counterpuncher. Never, you know, off balance. He got a good chin. He got good power. Got, you know, good movement when he want to move. What is there to not say about him?
No, I got you. Now, with all of that, as you rattled off, we'll call it the scouting report, right? What will you have to do to be your best version in order to get this victory?
I think just be myself and just don't get careless in the ring, and, you know, stay sharp all 12 rounds if it goes 12 rounds. I think that's the only thing that, you know, I need to do and make sure that in training that.
Initially skeptical, Chris Algieri now views the fight differently due to shifting dynamics. Canelo's lackluster showing against Charlo and Crawford's unwavering composure have forced many to reconsider. Algieri points out that Crawford's mental toughness is unmatched, a factor that could tilt the odds in his favor despite the physical disadvantage.
And Canelo?
I do. I do. And more I'm thinking that way. I'm just thinking, when this fight first came out, I was like, this is silly. You know, these guys are 3 weight classes apart. There's weight classes for a reason. They're both great fighters, but I don't see it. And then, but as we're getting closer, coming off the back of Canelo's last performance against Skull, which was left a lot to be desired, but also just seeing them around each other, and just I'm thinking about the psychology. I've seen Canelo Álvarez beaten mentally, psychologically. I've seen him broken. I've never seen Terence Crawford get bullied, broken, moved in any way. So that holds a lot of weight to me, psychology, because I think at the highest level, that really is the difference, is what's going on upstairs. So I can see it. I still probably lean towards Canelo Álvarez, but as we get closer, man, I don't know.
Echoing that sentiment, Keith Thurman believes Canelo's game plan will remain steady. Thus, the burden lies on Crawford's adjustments. He highlights the critical role of jabs, footwork, and defensive angles, insisting that Crawford must replicate Charlo's ability to frustrate Canelo without absorbing punishment.
You know, Canelo is really, Canelo's going to be Canelo, man. He's really, I think all the variables lie on Crawford. You know, absolutely. Crawford is confident, but Crawford is outside of his zone. You know, it's all about the training camp, the preparation, the extra weight, but still being agile, I believe that it's tactics and game plan. I hope he works behind that jab. I hope he works behind the feint, and just small little angles and different things, almost like when Charlo got dropped, right? After he got dropped, he never got dropped again. And because he never got dropped again, there's evidence that a nice mover, keeping your hands up, you actually can not get hurt by Canelo. Now, that was not the keys to victory, because that was the keys of survival. But survival and tactics of not getting hit. The game of boxing is hit and not get hit. Absolutely. So to have the defense, to use the legs.
Similarly, Troy Nash believes Crawford has a strong shot, though not an easy path. He notes Canelo's discomfort with constant movement, but predicts Crawford won't merely evade, he'll engage strategically. For Nash, this isn't a one-sided affair. It's a war that Crawford can win with grit and patience.
No, I think it's still the same. That fight didn't really change my opinion or outlook on the fight at all. Canelo is still a great fighter. Anybody who moves the whole entire time in front of a fighter like Canelo's gonna have problems with him. Just really, it seemed like he couldn't get into no rhythm, all night, and he just couldn't. He couldn't really do too much. But Crawford not gonna move like that. Crawford probably gonna sit there with him, and it ain't gonna be a whole bunch of moving. So I still got the same outlook and same opinion on that fight. It's gonna be a great fight. I got Bud winning, but it definitely ain't.
Nash's belief deepens through behind-the-scenes knowledge. He recounts watching Crawford dominate champions in the gym, often around the 160-pound range. These moments, unseen by the public, reinforce Nash's conviction. Few fighters can match Crawford's intensity and adaptability. Even Canelo may fall short.
Really being in it, I ain't even gonna say I've seen any fights from Bud that made me think that. It was really mainly just being in the gym with him. When you got a guy who takes his craft as serious as he does, and the fighters, I seen him in there with some great fighters. I ain't gonna drop their name, but I've seen him in there with some great fighters, and like he was just in there doing his thing. So, and these are current champions now in along the weight classes that they're in. So around 160, 168, and Bud's in there really, in control, dominating. And when I see stuff like that, and I've been seeing this for years. When I see stuff like that, it just makes me think, man, you got to be a certain type of fighter to beat Bud. And Canelo, I just feel like he's a great fighter, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think he has what it takes to beat a fighter like Bud.
Elevating the historical lens, Showbiz, the adult poses thought-provoking comparisons. He references past legends like Sam Langford, but asserts Crawford is embarking on something unprecedented, fighting for an undisputed super middleweight crown after starting at lightweight. The ambition, he says, is almost mythical.
Now, by asking you a question, tell me a fighter who has started their career at lightweight and fought a fight at super middleweight. Sam Langford. That was over 100 years ago. He fought Joe Gans, He fought the fireman Jim Flynn at heavyweight. Hell, he fought Jack Johnson. Sam Langford is ridiculous. Now, let's make it even more unlikely. Name a fighter who started at lightweight to fight for undisputed at super middleweight. Further, name a fighter that started at lightweight to fight for undisputed at super middleweight against one of the greatest fighters of all time, who is 3 years younger than him. What Bud Crawford is attempting to do on September 13th has never been done before. And let me go further. It has very rarely been attempted. If Bud Crawford beats Canelo September 13th, Mount Rushmore.
On a more logistical note, Steven Espinoza highlights the contrast in activity. Canelo has been more active recently, while Crawford's inactivity could be a concern. However, Espinoza also acknowledges Crawford's ability to return sharp after layoffs, crediting his Omaha-based training camp. Still, he leans slightly toward Canelo due to weight and experience.
Canelo. Oh, you said it. It's a huge challenge. Look, Canelo's been fairly active. Crawford's been off a little bit. But if you look back at Crawford's past performances, having some time off of inactivity hasn't really come back to haunt him. He still is really, really sharp. I think that's a testament to his training camp that he does, there in Omaha. Look, personally, I think you've got to go with Canelo just because he is a pound-for-pound fighter. And he's got the weight advantage, and he's more natural at this weight. But that's just the tiebreaker. I mean, obviously you've got 2 pound-for-pound fighters with a high-level skill set, and another one. But until you see them in the ring and how they take each other's punches, no one knows for sure.
Adding a fresh perspective, Kermel Moton calls the fight a pure 50-50. He believes this is one of those rare matchups where prediction holds little value. Instead, performance on the night will decide the victor, though fans, he insists, are the real winners regardless.
It's a big jump for sure, but I feel like Crawford definitely has a great chance. I feel like it's a 50-50 fight. I really don't know who will come out on top of that one. I just feel like the better man that night will win. So I feel like the fans are the winners in that one.
Super middleweight Diego Pacheco offers a quick, tactical breakdown. He gives Canelo the edge in power, risk-taking, and resume, but hands Crawford the advantages in IQ, speed, and defense. Interestingly, he predicts Canelo will retire first, hinting at a possible generational handover.
Sure.
Canelo.
Best skills?
Crawford.
Better resume?
Canelo.
Better defense?
Crawford.
Better offense?
Canelo.
Higher ring IQ?
I say Crawford.
Better chin?
Canelo.
Faster hands?
Crawford.
Better at trash talking?
Canelo.
Who would you rather train you?
Probably Canelo.
Who is higher on your pound-for-pound rankings right now?
Crawford.
Who retires first?
Canelo.
Who's taken the biggest risks in their career?
Canelo.
Who's achieved more?
Canelo.
Who would you rather face?
Canelo.
Boxing legend Shane Mosley brings attention back to size, an often understated factor. He argues that while Crawford is skilled, Canelo's size and strength at 168 pounds create too wide a gap. Mosley bluntly concludes that this will allow Canelo to secure a fairly easy win.
And they mistake him as being just a guy at 168, not a regular guy, and Crawford being the more talented. But that's not the case. They're both talented. But the only thing is, Canelo has them by 2-weight division. So I think that Canelo beats him pretty easily.
Moving on, with the Crawford-Canelo fight confirmed, Manny Pacquiao believes Crawford's path to victory hinges on his speed. Acknowledging Canelo's natural size advantage, Pacquiao stressed that Crawford must prioritize maintaining and improving his quickness and footwork, as moving up in weight often compromises agility. He also advised Crawford to develop strength without sacrificing that crucial speed, seeing both as essential to counter Canelo's physical edge.
Good fight. Good fight. Canelo has advantage because Crawford moving up, but my advice to Crawford is like maintain the speed, improve the speed, and improve the strength. because it's hard to go up in high weight and maintain your speed. So speed is the key. Like he should focus on speed, footwork, and improve.
Joe Rogan, a longtime Crawford admirer, offers a nuanced take. He hails Crawford as the best switch hitter since Hagler and respects his daring ambition. Yet, he also notes signs of Canelo slowing down, suggesting the bout may hinge on whether Crawford can exploit Canelo's reduced volume and reliance on single shots.
Really interesting, the Crawford-Canelo fight.
Beyond interesting. Fascinating.
Because how does Crawford compete with that size? Crawford is leapfrogging. He goes to super middleweight.
47 to 54 and now to 68.
And the Madrigal fight in 54 is a difficult fight.
Yeah. So who do you like in Canelo versus Crawford?
Well, I'm a giant Crawford fan because I think he's the best switch hitter since Marvin Hagler. I also think he's one of those guys that if you tell him he can't do something, he wants to show you and shock the world.
1000%.
I also think Canelo is slowing down, and Canelo is more of a one-punch fighter now than the combination fighter.
Closing the chorus of expert voices, David Benavidez acknowledges the risks, but refuses to dismiss Crawford's chances. Citing his brilliant ring IQ and mental resilience, especially against elite competition like Spence, Benavidez sees no outcome as shocking. For him, this isn't just a fight, it's a collision of greatness that could tilt either way once the first bell rings.
Does he have an opportunity to beat Canelo?
I think if anybody has a chance to beat Canelo, I think it's Terence Crawford. His IQ is on another level. He's a great fighter and he's strong. It's just that it's a lot of weight. I wouldn't be surprised if Terence Crawford wins. Wouldn't be surprised if he loses either. Terence Crawford, when he went up against the best opposition, like Earl Spence, he showed what level he's on, what type of dog he is. So I don't know. You really have to let these fights play out to see what happens. He might get hurt. That might activate him to come back strong.
Could you still make 68?
I don't want to make 68.
No, I know you don't. Terence wins 68.
Yeah, well, if that's, yeah, I can make 168.
As the anticipation builds, fans are left imagining the fireworks Crawford and Canelo could deliver in the ring. With legacy, history, and pound-for-pound pride on the line, this battle promises to be unforgettable. Don't miss a moment. Watch the trailer, join the hype, and subscribe for more.